Have you ever thought that maybe it's not a psychic experience? Maybe you're not talking to the dead?
We have clients that have had like 1,000 readings in a year. Kim says my son passed away. Kim, there's something a little bit suspect in my mind.
How many people over the year have used your services?
Over 100,000 readings. I'm not going to say you've got a pregnancy-related condition, but it's something like endometriosis. You're worrying about it, aren't you? Yeah.
I actually would love it to be true. How do we prove to the audience? Just got a call from Chris. He's not entirely happy with how the filming's gone so far. Are we ready?
Sorry. You can turn it off. Can you turn the camera off, please?
It's okay, let's go. In this episode of Life Uncovered, I'm meeting celebrity psychic Chris Riley. Chris spends his days doing one-to-one psychic readings with clients in person and via Zoom. He also speaks to his 600,000 followers and celebrity fans via live streams on Facebook and Instagram, all of which earn him a lot of money. Chris predicts potential romances, exciting career changes, and he can even speak with lost loved ones. And while I appreciate this must offer a lot of comfort to people searching for answers, personally, I'm on the fence. I don't quite understand how it's scientifically possible to speak to dead people, so I find it a little hard to believe. I'm going to Essex to spend time with Chris and even get my very own psychic reading. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Where do we start?
My dad's mum and dad. My granddad I was very close to.
When was your first sensing that you had psychic abilities?
When I was about 8 years old. I predicted a break-in at home. No one listened to me.
Did your parents believe you after that?
No.
Do your parents believe you now? No, they don't, okay.
I've had to deal with a lot through having what I do, so it might seem to someone from the outside world like, oh, it's a blessing. It's not that easy. It's a blessing and it's a curse.
So, you like cats?
Yeah, 5 cats.
Can you interact with animals?
I've never really tried. One cat, the one out there, Simba, he was really poorly. And I sort of like put my hand across him and I thought, there's like bugs in his tummy? And they found parasites in his stomach and stuff.
He's a chunky boy now,
This
isn't he?
is Simba. I just knew like something's not right with his stomach.
And then you kind of physically put your hand over
Yeah,
and
so just feel, because I feel energy.
Can you find out if people have cancer and stuff like?
I feel like I sense things in the body. And when I was about 16, 17, and I've not been doing it that long, then I went to a client in person. It was an older lady. During the daughter's reading, I said, has your mum been to hospital? And she said, yeah. She said, but I don't know what's wrong with her. And I thought, oh, okay. And I didn't say anything. My mind was just drawn to the stomach. It was very small, like the size of a pea. And she pressed it out of me and I told her.
Which you said to her, your mum?
Yeah, I said, I feel a cancer condition. And she phoned me to say her mum had been for a test and
been diagnosed with stomach cancer?
Yeah.
Wow. How many people do you think over the year have used your services?
Probably over 100,000 readings.
Yeah.
100,000 readings?
100,000 at least.
We have clients that have had like 1,000 readings in a year.
What's a kind of a usual message that you'll get from somebody? You know,
What type of readings are there? What's Chris's website? Does he do face-to-face? Is there any one-to-ones? Chris has got a massive waiting list.
Yeah.
You know, and I had people actually coming through on eBay. That was the first where it started. You know, and these readings were £2, £3, £4, £5. From about the age of 19, 20, it was full-time. I then had so much work. I took on a team of readers that working all over the world to deal with people's texts and phone calls.
how much is a reading?
So it varies. So anything varies in price. Could be anything from £10 to 30.
Yeah.
So that's like potentially £300,000.
I don't know.
That's a lot of cash monies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not like millions of pounds. Must be like a decent amount of cash.
Like I've done well, but I've worked hard.
To understand Chris's business a bit more, I immersed myself in his world and joined him on various psychic activities. First up was a podcast recording in his home studio. It's nice to hear,
Yeah, you go there.
How did you first discover the angels?
I was born with psychic gifts. I could see spirit, animals and angels, all of these amazing beings.
So looking at these, who's Paul, by the way?
That is her ex-husband.
Okay.
All I'm doing is just like drawing a circle. And just tell me what you feel.
Kim says my son passed away. Kim, I don't know why I feel that there's something a little bit suspicious or suspect in my mind. Tell me yes, tell me no. There's something here talking about a cancer condition. Who is Anne?
Yeah, I can feel something. So what is the something?
Energy.
So just take a nice deep breath in. Open your mind to the divine.
Brenda, will I be in my new home soon? You have the world card. The world card talks all about change. Property-wise, it looks like a bungalow that is accessible. Do you go to the dentist?
I do.
Right, have you just been or something? Have you got teeth that you need to watch out?
Yeah.
Wow. That, like, has hit me straight away.
Why do you think I don't feel as much?
The bowl is really clever. It knows where to put the energy.
I feel chilled now.
Yeah, it was a very nice experience.
So thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you soon. Take care, bye.
Look at that bed, wow. That is incredible.
Thank you.
Some people who watch this they won't believe that it's possible,
And that's
I guess.
okay, that's absolutely fine. You know, I have no issue with someone that doesn't believe in it, that's okay.
I actually would love this to be, I'd love it to be true, genuinely. So how do we prove to the audience, you know what I mean? 'Cause I know you're saying you don't need to prove, but obviously it would make life easier if you could just prove
Well,
it carte blanche.
I've done well enough already. I have a reputation for a reason.
So you don't feel the need to prove it?
I don't need to prove it to people.
Where's it coming from? You know, is it from a higher power? Is it, you know, like, how has it got to you?
I have no idea.
Have you ever thought that maybe it's not a psychic experience? Maybe you're not talking to the dead, you know? I mean,
What have I ever thought, oh, it might not be real?
Yeah.
No.
how come?
Because of it's been 12 years or so, I suppose, the experiences I've had that I've witnessed, the lives that I suppose have been changed, I guess.
I'm excited to go in the Range Rover.
I've had 3, this is my 3rd one.
It's your 3rd one, bloody hell. To find out more about how Chris carries out his readings, I joined him and Assistant Verity as they went out for dinner. So when you start to focus on somebody, what happens in your mind?
A feeling or something would come, so it can be anything.
So you're kind of sitting there and then you get like a kind of, do you have to like lock eyes with them, or they just have to be in the presence?
If someone wants a reading, it's like an open invitation.
Vegas here.
I was picking up stuff off her, yeah.
Off her?
Yeah.
You were?
What did you pick up?
I was intrigued to see if Chris could do a spontaneous reading for the waitress, so we got her back to the table.
What's your name, by the way?
Chloe.
Chloe.
Yeah.
You must have one sibling, is that right?
Yeah.
Have you got another sibling?
No, just one.
No, but I want to say one sibling. I keep seeing 3 of you, so whether your mum would have lost a child, but there was definitely 3. Can you connect with the name Stephen in some way?
No, not Stephen.
I want to talk about pregnancy as well. I'm not going to say you've got a pregnancy-related condition, but it's something like endometriosis, or does that make sense to say?
Yeah.
Would you understand being tested for it?
I haven't, no.
No, is it in the family then?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're worrying about it though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. They come from London.
No.
Why do I want to say Louise to you? Have you got a middle name?
Yeah, it's
What?
not Louise.
Remember it for me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're going to look at some point about either starting your own business or working for yourself. Who loves to make cakes?
Me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like you make cakes?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
How would I know? Right, so it's starting like a cake business.
Yeah, it's a thing thought before.
Well, you should.
Did you feel like that hit on some truths?
Yeah, it's weird about the cake thing, because obviously that's like what I've been thinking about maybe doing.
How do you explain, because obviously there was some stuff within that, like London, for example, you said no.
Yeah.
What about the things that aren't right?
I mean, you're you're coming at it from a skeptic point of view. How many careers are there in the world? You make cakes. Yes, I do. I want to do it as a business.
Someone will always latch onto something.
I'm saying what I feel as a feeling, and she has the option to say to me, that's not right.
Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
It's not that I inherently don't want to be a believer. You asked us so many things that in my head I'm like, it's not surprising that she felt latched onto one of those things.
I don't think she latched onto anything.
The cakes.
Yeah, but I was very direct. Would you say I was very direct in what I said?
You mentioning the cake business, her response to that seemed to be like positive. It feels therapeutic.
Everyone will take something different from these type of things, but that is the whole point.
I love how much build-up there is for my reading tomorrow. It's going to be like...
I'm actually...
Yeah.
You don't have to be a believer. It's not for me to make anyone a believer.
I'm 100% open to that. So, you know, I've spent a day with Chris at this point, and I'd say I'm still definitely a skeptic. And I feel like there's a lot of what he does that I don't really understand. You know, is it magic, you know, or is it him doing some kind of secret techniques to get this information out? To enlist a bit of help, I'm speaking to a man in a second called Chris, who looks into psychics and paranormal kind of activities and figures out how they do what they do. So very nice to meet you.
And you. There are a couple of possibilities. Possibility number one is that he's really psychic, at least some of the time. Cold reading is a technique that can be used to convince complete strangers that you know all about them. There are certain kinds of statements that often sound as if they're saying something very kind of deep, but actually apply to everyone. Another part of cold reading would involve inspired guests. If I'm in a room full of little old ladies who've all lost their husbands, I mean, Albert would be a good bet.
It's actually quite interesting because in one specific reading, he said to a woman, you know, I'm getting the name, I think Anne, and then she said, that's my mum, or that's my grandma.
Yeah. If you practiced it a lot, you get very, very good at being able to pick up on the feedback. Another thing that psychics do a lot, they ask a lot of questions, or they'll throw something out that's kind of very vague and general. You know, I'm getting a name beginning with the letter D. Well, why? Just give us the name.
I was asking him this yesterday, why are you not being very specific about certain things? And it feels like a very useful, convenient. A lot of the names, they tend to be the most standard British names. It's kind of like John, Joseph, Louise, David, Paul, Gary. Do you think there's anything I can do today to prove it or disprove it?
Maybe think of a few questions in advance that are things that kind of, as far as you're aware, only you would know.
Brilliant. Well, I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Okay.
A few moments later, I had a worrying call from Chris. So we just got a call from Chris basically saying he's not entirely happy with how the filming's gone so far. He doesn't want to be interrogated, and yeah, he's reconsidering everything, so just waiting for him. As we waited, I chatted to Janine, my producer. Do you think I'm coming across too hard?
I don't know. I think you're obviously a bit more of a skeptic rather than kind of like a neutral trying to understand, I think.
If he could just kind of give me some major proof, I'd be like, all right, fair dues, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met any psychics who I think like are just out to kind of con people. He's
pissed off at us because he feels as though he's being interrogated. And that makes me think, why are you panicking if you believe what you're doing so much?
Well, I guess the most people he interacts with are people who do believe him, so he probably very rarely interacts with people like you.
Finally, Chris called to say we could come in and do my reading. Okay, so I'm just about to get my reading, and I've printed out these bad boys. So this is my Iranian grandma, this is my British grandma. There's some very specific facts that if he gets those facts, then perhaps my mind will change for good. So let's see. Oh God, look at the black cat just staring at us. Hello, how you doing? Oh good, thank you so much, how you doing? Nice to see you again. It smells delicious. What does sage do again?
It's for like bad energy clearing.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been on some calls with angels today. We're just doing some energies, some witchy spells.
Witchy spells, okay. Alright, cool. Who are the spells on? I had a funny feeling I was the bad energy they were trying to get rid of.
You should do it like in your own home.
Yeah, I quite like sage. Are we ready? Yeah. How are you feeling, Chris?
Fine.
I feel like we're both nervous because we've built up to it so much.
No, I think you're probably nervous. I'm all right.
I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous. I guess I'm nervous now because I want this to work.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to jot a few things down of kind of what comes to me, and then I'll look at the photo.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I want to ask you is, you can look at this before, what's your mum's name?
Jane. Yeah. But I guess that's the type of thing that, I suppose that one's harder because you could just find that on Instagram or something. I'm not saying you have, I'm just saying like my mum's on my Facebook and all that. So I guess it's harder for me to, you know.
Okay,
understand.
fine. Okay, if you feel like that, fine.
It's not that I'm trying to say you're
no,
doing
you're
that.
fine.
It's
if
just,
you think
it's just
that's
harder.
okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not here proving this to you. I'm telling you what I feel. So the first thing I want to talk about is Jane, where there's a mum connection. And then there's a Michael that to me feels like you've got quite a heavily male family. I think you've got a lot of boys.
So that's not right.
Okay, so tell me then, siblings.
But I guess, so how does it work? I guess, why do I tell you?
Because you're telling me I'm not correct. So if I'm not correct, you can explain.
Okay. I have, so it's 50-50 boys, girls.
Okay. So who is Michael?
Michael's my brother.
Right, okay. I feel that your mum has some health issues and she's not talking about it. Your mum is married. Must be to dad? Fine. And if I look at you, I feel like I would look at your dad, I would look at you and I look at your dad like across the eyes.
Do you mean I look like my dad in the eyes? I actually don't know. I don't know.
Okay, fine, don't worry. There is something here around the heart. I don't want to talk about a heart issue, but there's a heavy thing here around the heart.
I don't know.
Okay, would you know if that comes in the family?
Like they've got heart problems, is that what you mean?
Or that's through the family?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know. I don't think so, not as far as I can tell. No one's had any heart problems. Because I suppose that's worrying, isn't it? Like the idea that they could have heart problems, that feels like a big
No, but
thing.
it's acknowledging something now, it's not a prediction.
Yeah, no, there's not. I don't think so.
Right.
As far as I can tell.
Okay, well, let's have a look at this picture. I'm looking at your grandmother. I feel that there's a sense of she was not able to say what she wanted to say. Who has got the name Sue or Susan that's alive? Like around, maybe it could be like an aunt.
There's no Sue or Susan.
I feel like you're, there's a very close connection with your dad, but there is like this, there's this disconnect. Because she makes me feel as though, would your dad be one of three?
No.
So why she talk to me about having three, or there being three of us?
I don't know. How is best for me to respond when I don't know the answer?
Well, you can say you don't know, that's okay. No, I'm stopping, you can turn it off. Sorry, you can turn it off.
How come?
Just turn it off. I'm just like, I can't. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have no, I'm fine. I don't feel like I want to carry the reading, I'm sorry.
Okay. How come?
I just don't. I don't know if you're not being truthful with me.
I'm genuinely being truthful.
Okay.
I promise you.
Okay.
I promise you with my heart. You know,
Okay.
there's not really any reason for me to try and lie about it. You know, I suppose to tell you the truth, my dad's one of about...
Can you turn it off, please?
He's one of about 16 kids.
Can you turn the camera off, please?
It's okay, I just turned it off. Yeah. So I've just been kicked out of Chris's. Yeah. That ended probably the worst possible way. It just felt like he thought he had been rumbled and he was regretting it, and then he's, you know, demanding that we give him the footage. I mean, I feel bad because he's, you know, been welcoming to us for a couple of days, but it's just ended in the worst possible way.
In the time I'd spent with Chris, I'd seen firsthand how therapeutic and comforting people found his readings. But for me, I sadly can't get on board with it. I would have liked to believe all this was true, but my reading was filled with a couple of facts you could find on the internet and nothing correct about my grandma's history. So who are these people he's talking to in the afterlife? And why are they so terrible at giving him information?